as if they would prefer to go back to the time where there is no middle class on our border and we're just the rich and the poor. Would that be a better situation? But here we have a trading partner. We have people that can afford to buy goods and services from the United States. Can you talk about that transition, how that began and how you started to develop that?
Yeah, let's first some figures. Yes, United States economy has in the last 10 years lost 30% of the manufacturing jobs that you have. And yes, those manufacturing jobs have gone elsewhere. Have gone because Trump is buying ties in China, is buying shirts in Bangladesh, is buying denim pants in Mexico. That's part of the manufacturing job that moved out. But they moved out because of economic reasons, so simple. Remember, General Motors, Chrysler, Ford Motor Company went broke, totally broke 5 years ago, bankrupt. Your taxes and government rescued those companies by giving them a huge amount of money to keep them alive. But the real reason why they are alive and competitive today is because when that happened, immediately they came to manufacture in Mexico. They went to Canada to manufacture and to use Canadian engineers. And they kept in the United States the core of the business and the best jobs. So there is a lot of jobs, automotive jobs in the United States and that. But at the very end, you lost 30% of the jobs. Textiles. All textiles moved out to China, to India, to Mexico, and everywhere, because the United States cannot compete now in manufacturing jobs. Let's say that Trump says, okay, I'm going to tax by 40% automobiles imported to the United States. Who is the loser? You and your aspiration to buy a car in the United States, because it's going to cost you 40% more of what it costs you today. So if you pay for a Volkswagen $20,000 today, you're going to be paying $28,000 if that automobile is taxed by that 40%. Or worse off. Some might say, no, let's manufacture that Volkswagen back in the United States again. At the cost of $60 to $80 the hour that they pay in automobiles production line in the United States, compared to around $6 to $8 that are paid for that land in that the Volkswagen is going to cost you now $28,000. It's going to cost you maybe $30,000. I'm going to bring back the jobs to the United States. Yeah, but you're going to hurt all the rest of consumers. Now, what happened in the economy? 30% loss of manufacturing jobs in 10 years. 90% increase, so double in knowledge economy, in technology, in the service sector, in the tourism, and else. So you have totally replaced the job lost in manufacturing. And this can be proven by seeing the figures. Unemployment rate in the United States today is lower than 10 years ago. Lower. So there's less unemployment, which means that the lost manufacturing jobs have been replaced by advanced technology, services, industries. Now, Mexico. Mexico moved now from manufacturing textiles and apparel that went to South America, Central America, to India, and Mexico is concentrated on more sophisticated manufacturing, which is automobile and aerospace. And this is why you see Guanajuato, Querétaro, Aguascalientes, you see 11 manufacturing automobile plants in this small region of the world. And it's not just GM, Chrysler, and Ford. The three of them are here. But it also is here BMW, it's Mercedes-Benz manufacturing, it's Toyotas, it's Mazdas, it's Nissans, it's everybody manufacturing here. So it's not Yes, U.S. corporations. So that fact of moving from manufacturing jobs into knowledge economy or service economy is very important for you. Because if you're aspiring to be a manufacturing worker in an automobile production line in the United States, forget it. You're not going to get the job here. Now, what is smart and what about everybody did in the United States? When they saw Detroit getting into trouble, when they saw the area of the manufacturing regions in the United States, they either moved out or people went out to the community college to learn other skills and other activities. And everybody adapted to that move, getting out of the manufacturing job and moving into and that's why we have today the Silicon Valleys, and that's why we have California that is not suffering from unemployment and is moving. That's why we have Texas that use technology to do shell drilling and to use horizontal drilling, and it's a miracle. All of a sudden, Texas becomes the 7th largest energy producer in the world as a state, not as a nation. And that's why we have Boston area now with huge amount of jobs in the technology sector, in energy, in creativity, innovation. So we have to move. Now, that was an easy task up to now. Now let's think about 20 years from now. There's not going to be jobs. There's going to be robots. There's going to be cars driven by themselves. There's going to be drones flown by themselves. No people in there, no pilots, no chauffeurs, no nothing. Where are the jobs going to be coming from? And it's something that the think tank centers of the world begin to concentrate on. What's going to happen? And nobody has yet the answer. And it's a reality that it will come pretty soon. Sales. You put on your own little changarro, your own store, selling beautiful clothes coming from India, from China, and everything. Well, Amazon is taking away your job. You're not going to have it anymore. You have the mom and pop stores here in Mexico. We have millions of them. Comes Walmart, comes Costco, comes Amazon, comes eBay. Boom. They have to look for a new job. Finally, all those taxi drivers here in Mexico living in comfort, doing good business, getting food for the table of their families, and here comes Uber, the most aggressive phantom that you can find. And people is not, they're fighting against Uber, but they're immediately reacting. How can I be a Uber? And this is what Trump is not teaching to his audiences. How you have to imagine, there's not going to be more manufacturing jobs in the United States. Even Trump can do whatever he wants, that's not going to happen because of economics. So he should be telling, I'm going to create jobs on the technology industry. I'm going to create new jobs here. We're going to lead through this vanguard thinking.
And I think, John, you mentioned robots and stuff. Like John was saying, why doesn't Trump say, let's build a wall for these rapist robots that are, taking over our jobs? But I also think a really scary thing is artificial intelligence. Like, where, we might move away from manufacturing jobs and whatnot, but what's going to happen when a machine is smarter than everyone? You know what I mean? So where does humanity go? Where are the jobs if the machines are doing all our work? With Google investing so much money in artificial intelligence, and it's just like they're saying that it's extremely, extremely smart. It can learn for itself. It can, so it's a very valid point. Where is there going to be jobs if machines will learn from themselves and be like, oh, you know what, we can do ice cream better. We can build a house by ourselves. So it's a very scary concept, and technology is growing so fast that it might be here super soon.
Solutions. Technology will find it. Maybe at the very end, we're going to be at home very happy after playing golf, come here to see the family, to be with the kids, and the robot is doing the rest for us. And we're going to have money because of the robot doing what it's doing. Let's just make sure that the robot produces what it produces doesn't go to the wealthy,
And there's an attorney's a terminator as well.
Jerry?
So, are we asking the wrong questions? And are we ignoring some of the basic laws of the way things work? For instance, in economics, supply and demand. And and that's what's happening in a lot of this stuff. And by asking the question of what's going to happen in the future, we're asking, it's the wrong question, it can't be answered. We could speculate. So you went back to saying the difference between love, the Jesuits? Okay. Love and fear is what I heard you saying. And it seems to me that everything's going to happen no matter what we do. There are basic laws. There is Adam Smith's invisible hand. We just don't understand what the free market is. The free market operates over centuries, and we think it operates day to day. But you can't see it day to day.
I don't accept that.
Okay.
That's why leaders, like we're sitting here,
Leaders have
we're
to
gonna make
educate.
things happen.
But aren't leaders' biggest jobs to teach?
Yeah, I'm sure when that scenario of no jobs will reach there, we'll have built up solutions. The truth is that the world will be much better then than it is today.
Absolutely.
So we're not gonna have what we understand as jobs today. Now, the other thing is, and you said something that is very, very important. We don't have to take for granted that there is rich and there is poor, that there is those guys that eat in excess and those that don't have to eat in their tables. For instance, and I suggest you to read this book by the name of Infinitive Progress. Very interesting book, very motivating, very positive. And it says, for instance, that in this century we're going to end up with hunger. And how do they sustain that? The author, he sustains by saying, today the world produces more food than all that we can eat, the 8 billion people. We can eat that much. But then why there's hungry people? And it's just a matter of, again, economics and markets. So the only thing we have to adjust is how a poor guy can have food, either by buying it or by the way we're doing it right now with food banks that are collecting all that food and bringing it in good conditions to them, or the distribution and logistics aspects of it, or the technology in food. For instance, there is a great company here that has taken food, but it's packing it that can last for 2 years with no fridge needed. Excellent food already cooked, softened, what you have there. So the solutions come by. So what I trust very much is this. Here is the answer. Here is the answer. Compassionate leaders. Not just leaders, compassionate leaders. That yes, you worry about yourself and you worry about others. And you work for others. And you dedicate your life like Martin and I do 100% to others. To do for others. And so that combination will bring us along. Now finally, state and government. They do have to intervene the rules or the so-called rules or dogmas of the marketplace. Mm-hmm. The marketplace has a great talent, but doesn't know everything. Somebody has to come in, like Adam Smith and like many of the big economists might have come in, and governments have to intervene temporarily for adjustments, and then get off of it and let it move again. We need more society, maybe you don't have this so in such a priority as we do in Latin America, the government. So we need countries to move by themselves. The best country is that shouldn't even have government. Mariscal Sucre said when he was appointed mayor of the city of Quito in Ecuador, people asking, or press asking, and what about security? Is not good. What kind of police are you going to create? And he said, there is no better police than the one we have inside each of us that imposes limits to our behavior and forbids us to affect negatively third parties. So if we have that kind of citizen in the government, and by the way, the Second Amendment, now it's my turn to question. Shouldn't that be adjusted? I mean, the Second Amendment, you still want everybody with a gun? Here we have illegally many people with a gun, and I have never seen that the guy who is going to defend his life beats the other guy that is going to assault him. So you can have your gun, but usually you're going to lose the battle. What is the opinion around the Second Amendment? Should it be adjusted or should it be left as it is? Or worse stuff like this crazy guy is saying, everybody should have a gun and everybody should have the right to defend himself.
The Second Amendment was written when weapons were, most of the time they missed.
Yeah. I'm going to kill you, hang on.
Right. So, yes, it absolutely should be grown up. It should be modernized to what exists now.
There's 30 million semi-automatic weapons in the United States right now.
The Second Amendment never said you can have a cannon.
Right.
And so what we have today is the equivalent of things that just didn't exist then. So it does have to, it absolutely has to be.
What are we
No,
going to be
you never say in
carrying?
universities and in the schools, guns?
Oh, that's
the
insane.
craziest
It's
thing
insane.
I've ever heard.
It's absolutely insane.
Has anybody in your universities had like a lockdown because there's some crazy guy with a gun running through the universities?
And my mom's, well, there was no crazy guy going in, but they've had to lock down a couple of times because of the fear of guns,
Yeah.
So, and my mom works at an elementary school, so I just find it insane that, these kids have to go through these, protocols of what if someone comes in with a gun. It's just, it's insane. And the security around the school, in the past 5 years, they've fenced it all up, they've put covering all around. I'm guessing because of what's going on, it's insane that you have to fear that, and especially with was it, I don't know if it was Texas or what state was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna let college students be able to carry concealed arms. Like, that's just insane. It's crazy. It makes no sense. And like President Fox said, no, by the time someone comes into your home and shoots you and it's illegal to have your gun just sitting around. You have to have it in a safe. Are you gonna, hold on, let me go open my safe and wait there, let me shoot you. Like, no, it makes absolutely no sense.
And most people in America agree with this. Most people in America feel that the gun laws should be changed. But
Well, we don't know. We've never had a vote on it.
well, we haven't had a vote, but we've got lots and lots of polls that suggest that.
And I saw a post that said, the day America decided that shooting kids was all right was the day America lost the conversation about guns. Like, it's just insane. I find it the most ridiculous. America is just stupid right now. Fox, you gotta go run for president.
Help us!
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce you to Jim Weisenstein. While you were building the middle class here, Jim was at Intel, and he has a perspective about technology. I think that would be useful in this discussion because we were talking a little bit about fear of robots in the future, but we have a lot of problems that we haven't figured out how to solve yet. And our little phrase in our little organization of H2 Open Doors is you can solve anything with a little technology and a whole lot of soul, that which goes to the compassion. Could you when you started at Intel and you were with them for a long time managing different divisions, when you started, the problems that are getting solved now through technology, you never imagined could be solved. Could you talk from that perspective?
Right, yeah, I started in 1979. And I think the microprocessor was like just a year or two old at that point. But, you know, it's a good example of how a company can continuously reinvent itself, you know, as memories were very important back then. And then there was competition from Asia. So we moved across to microprocessors. And then there was competition from, you know, other places. So, you know, inside the company, one of the values was continuous improvement, always making continuous improvement. And second value was redeploying yourself. You know, if you found yourself working on a project that wasn't, you know, significant value added, and I was in that position. I got, you know, a division that I was leading actually got eliminated, which was the right decision. So I had to go find a different job within Intel, right? Retrain myself, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And that's, you know, it's like a free market system for labor. And what you don't see in things like unions and Rust Belt, you know, states is that. I think what you said earlier is really important. Learning that you get what you work for. And there's a fair amount of the population that wants to get it for free. And those are the ones that are voting for Trump. So, you know, because he's promising that they'll get something for free. So, yeah, I mean, technology is good, but it doesn't, you know, by itself, it doesn't solve the problem. I mean, you know, we're constantly looking at the market need and, the problem that we're trying to solve. And now they're, you know, and the social aspects are just as big, or if not bigger, than the technology aspects. You know, I think we're going to be limited in terms of our progression of technology by social issues, not by, you know, whether the technology can do it or not. You know, for example, self-driving cars, you know, there's a whole lot of social issues around those, as opposed to, you know, the technology is already here. And then I have one more question for you. You've obviously done some amazing things for Mexico, the country of Mexico. Are you able to, you know, at being president, are you able to influence the government of Mexico today to keep going in the direction that you set during the presidency?
First, let me give you a comment on what you're saying. Those people that are late, even ants, hormigas, ants, they have sign language. Those that don't work and live on the work of the others. So really hard-working people. That's what happens. And yeah, when Trump said, I'm going to bring back the jobs, and I'm going to have jobs for everybody in the United States, he's promoting laziness or gasanes. Because then people say, like we did in Latin America, okay, fine. Turn on my TV, get my beer, watch the beer, and wait for Trump to solve my problems. That permeated so profound in Latin America that the consequences that we are the loser of the 20th century, all of Latin America. It is difficult to explain today, well, why Mexico doesn't do this and why Mexico doesn't take care of its own people. It's because of that stupid culture that came from dictators, it came from messianic leaders, and came from this guy. Now, your question is in relation to?
Your influence.
Okay. Look, we human beings have so many weaknesses that very seldom we hear or would like to get at bat, especially when you're in politics and you're in government and you come from winning an electoral campaign. You think you are God. It's incredible, in the case of the 71 years, the former president appointed the new president out of his friends or his cabinet. So what better link or relationship could you have than that? Because there was no election, but they were fake elections. So the president will decide who was the next president of Mexico.